Hey everybody, this is Dr. Andrew Kim M.D. And today we're going to be talking about self-care and self-care myths. So first of all, what is self-care? What is this buzzword everyone keeps talking about? Well, self-care is basically when we perform deliberate acts to either preserve or restore our physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual health. Now, you might say, well, duh, that sounds so basic. I mean, that's something we should all be doing. Yet, many Americans fail to pay attention to or focus on tending to their own self-care on a day-to-day basis. So why is that? Well, when I speak with a lot of my patients or just people in my own life, I find that oftentimes there are a lot of myths, misconceptions, and assumptions about self-care that almost make it discouraging. And it makes people say to themselves, I don't have the time, I don't have the energy or the money for self-care. I can't even afford to do it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to tackle some of these myths and make it very clear to you that yes, not only can you do this, you need to do this if you want to be healthy and functioning optimally. So let's go ahead and get started. Self-care myth number one. Self-care is too expensive. I can't afford to do that. False. Look, we need to stop associating self-care with these images that Instagram and big businesses have associated with it. Because look, I know when you hear that word self-care, some of the first images that come into your mind are things like expensive spa days, okay? Beautiful beach vacation pictures that you see on Instagram, people posting constantly on Twitter or Instagram about, today I'm just drinking rosé all day in their cute rosé all day t-shirt from Target. Look, I get it, all right? But look, I'm not bashing these things, okay? Going on a vacation, getting a massage at the spa, all of these things can be a form of self-care, okay? But indulgences, spending a bunch of money, treating yourself, that's not the core of self-care, okay? The core is what I mentioned earlier right at the beginning of the video, finding ways to restore or rejuvenate those important areas of your life, your physical health, your emotional and mental health, and your spiritual health, okay? So think about this, right? Physical health, okay? These are things like getting exercise, taking care of your medical issues, eating right, sleeping right, okay? Emotional and mental, that could be journaling, okay? That could be thinking about, how do I kind of combat all of these negative self-thoughts and self-talk and find ways to encourage and build myself up and build my confidence, okay? Spiritually speaking, learning more about your faith, taking time to meditate, to pray, okay? Just to grow on your own spiritual journey. All right. When it comes to relationships, nurturing your important bonds with your friends, with your family, with your significant other, laughing with them, breaking bread with them. These are forms of self-care. Okay. And look, many of these things can be free or low cost. A lot of those things that I just named. The main cost of true self-care is time. Okay, so that is a cost, time, all right? But you have to remind yourself, you are worth it, your health and your well-being is worth it, and time, not money, is going to be the main cost. So we need to stop this association with self-care equals indulgences, self-care costs too much money. No, there are plenty of ways to do it for free, minus the cost of time. So that transitions us to myth number two. I don't have enough time for self-care. I'm so busy. Look, I'm working 7 days a week. I'm grinding it out, Dr. Kim. I'm juggling 4 kids and their childcare, paying the bills, holding down the home front. You're talking about self-care? I don't have time for that, okay? I get it. Sometimes this buzzword of self-care causes that kind of reaction, and I understand. Life is stressful, but that is the whole point. Even when things are going smooth, things are stressful. It takes a toll on us. in every single way, all right? And we have to find ways to recharge ourselves. And look, I am telling you, you can find time to take out of your day to prioritize your health, all right? We have to get out of this mentality of all or nothing, okay? That's one of the traps, and that's one of the myths. Again, we are bombarded with these images that have basically conditioned us. We've been conditioned by the media, by social media, by magazines, okay, telling us you got to go on a all-day spa package, relaxation getaway. You have to go to, 3-day weekend escape, all right? You have to have an all-night out, girls' night or guys' night in order to treat yourself and recharge yourself, okay? Look, those are nice things, okay? And those are luxuries in my opinion. But what's more important is getting in the habit and the routine of those small moments of self-care each day. I'm talking about when you got upset, something upsetting happened, life threw you a curveball, you got in a huge argument, you got into a breakup, you just lost your job. Taking that 15 minutes to deep breathe, to settle yourself down, to feel grounded and figure out what are the next steps, okay? Versus going right into a panic and running around like a chicken with your head cut off and lashing out at everybody, all right? I'm talking about the 15, 20 minutes in the evening to just give yourself some time to relax, to breathe, to wind down, calm yourself down, to clear your mind and clear your heart, to get ready for bed, okay? These small moments, these are what are more important than these once a month, once a year, once a weekend type of all or nothing escapes, okay? So we have to get out of this mentality that it's all or nothing. The next is, and I'm gonna be blunt, you have time, okay? If you are watching me right now on your tablet, on your phone, on your computer, you have time. The average American right now spends anywhere from 3 to 4 hours looking at their phone on a daily basis. We look down and check our phone screens on average 96 times a day, okay? If you can check your phone 96 times a day and watch the screen on your phone for 3 to 4 hours a day, you have time for self-care, okay? Have you checked in on your self-care 96 times today? I haven't. I bet you haven't either. Think about that. What is the priority? Your phone or you? Okay? And that's the other thing I want to talk about is that self-care, yes, it takes time and it takes deliberate action. Okay? Deliberate action. It's not just going to happen. You have to set aside time, even if it's a little, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes a day, to carve out time to take care of yourself. So you have time, and it's a deliberate act. Self-care myth number 3. Self-care is anything that makes me feel good. Sorry, but false. Self-care is not about chasing good feelings or chasing escapes from reality, okay? Again, the definition of self-care is deliberately doing something to preserve or restore your health and your well-being, okay? So what do I mean by that? Let's go through common scenarios, okay? Some of the things that we already mentioned, all right? So look, in one setting, saying, look, I'm gonna spend tonight to have a peaceful and enjoyable evening with my friends. We're gonna have a good meal. I'm gonna have a glass of wine. We're gonna laugh. We're gonna kick back. Great, okay? You're nurturing your relationships. You're taking time to relax. You're having laughter. Great. But that's different than I'm going to snuggle up on my couch tonight and I'm going to drink 2 bottles of wine because I deserve it. Okay? And I just need to wind down and this is how I'm going to do it. Drinking that amount of alcohol is not good for your body, your mind, or your long-term health. And that's what I mean. You can take the same action or object and it can go either way. It can become self-care or it could be taken to a different extreme and it could actually be self-sabotaging and self-destructive. Another common scenario, look, tonight I'm going to snuggle up with my wife, my husband, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, and we're going to sit down and we're going to watch a movie together. Finally have some quiet time. Great. That can be a form of self-care. Versus tonight, I'm going to binge watch the entire series of Tiger King until 4 a.m. I'm going to wake up at 6:30 for work and be cranky at my kids, my coworkers, and snap at everyone with road rage. See the difference? Same thing. Watching a movie, watching a show could be taken in two different directions. All right? Last one I'm going to give. Massage. I know I kept bashing on spa days and massages, but look, for some people, that could be relaxing, physically relaxing, mentally relaxing, and say, I'm going to go treat myself to a massage as my relaxation activity. Great. That can be a form of self-care. Versus, I can't afford to buy this luxurious spa package for a 3-hour, $450 package plus tip, but I'm going to do it anyway because you know what? It makes me feel good that I'm just like that person on Instagram that I follow. And then later, after my relaxing massage, I look at my credit card bill for the month and realize I'm drowning in debt. And now my stress level has skyrocketed. So again, that same thing, getting a massage, could be a form of self-care, or it could be self-sabotaging, and it could be destructive. So bottom line, what I'm trying to get across is it's not simply about the feeling good aspect, okay? Feeling good is just a transient feeling, okay? You have to think about the underlying motive or what kind of goal that action is achieving. Is it truly being done to restore and rejuvenate you, okay? Or is it simply just chasing an escape or chasing a good feeling? So again, myth number 3, self-care is not simply about chasing good feelings. Self-care myth number 4, self-care is optional. That's not for me. I opt out. That's for those people over there. False. Self-care is a necessity, whether you like it or not. Just think about the obvious, okay? You have to sleep. You have to sleep. It doesn't matter how much you try to avoid it. I'm a night owl. I hate sleeping. I want to get all this stuff done. But you have to sleep or your body will make you sleep, okay? So rather than shooting for the bare minimum, why don't you try to go for an optimal amount of sleep so you could function at your optimum? We have to eat. It's a necessity. So again, your body forces self-care upon you. But rather than doing the minimum or self-sabotaging by putting crap into your body with tons of caffeine, tons of junk food, alcohol, drugs, why don't you put in good stuff and healthy stuff, okay? We have one body, so take care of it. Take care of your teeth, take care of your body, exercise, take care of your medical issues, okay? So look, it is a necessity, not an option. And we even have built-in mechanisms where we have to sleep, we have to eat, okay? We have to take care of our one body. So look, whether you like it or not, self-care is part of your daily life. It's a matter of, are you going to do the bare minimum? Are you going to self-sabotage? Or are you going to take care of yourself, okay? And now look, there are other people out there who say that's optional stuff, okay? Like, this is weird movement. Everyone keeps saying self-care. I don't get it. It doesn't apply to me. Yes, it does. Because look, the buzzwords change every year, every month, every generation, but all of us have been dealing with issues of self-care or the lack of self-care every day of our lives. Think about these different phrases, okay? You've heard people say, oh, I'm so burnt out. How to avoid burnout. You go on Google and say, how to avoid burnout. Burnout is just another phrase and another way of talking about the lack of self-care, okay? You've heard people say the phrase, TGIF, thank God it's Friday. When's the weekend coming? Is the weekend here yet? Oh, I'm so glad it's the weekend. That's translation for, I am so burnt out, or I'm drowning and drained emotionally, mentally, physically, that I can't wait for this break or this treat this weekend, versus I need to take care of myself better on a day-to-day basis, okay? And look, finally, for this segment, I'll wrap it up with, there are people out there, and look, there are plenty who are watching right now who are gonna say, This whole thing is made up, okay? In my generation, there was not this focus of self-care. Your generation is soft. In my culture, okay, we don't talk about me, 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 me. Okay, this is all American crap, okay? You got other people who are like, dude, don't be so soft, bro. Man up, okay? My response to all of you is maybe you guys should look into your own self-care instead of being so angry and so miserable. The final myth we'll talk about is the myth that self-care is selfish, okay? The opposite is true. Self-care is not selfish. Self-care is being unselfish, all right? And I know this is a complicated one because look, depending on your cultural background, your religious beliefs, your own personal views on kind of the role of males and females in families or in society, this can kind of, paint your perception and your views on this concept of self-care. Like, for example, let's take me personally. I come from a family background of, a Korean ethnicity. And in Korean culture, I know I'm generalizing a little bit, but in Korean culture in general, there is a big emphasis on kind of putting the needs of the family unit first, in particular your elders, your grandparents, your parents, and kind of honoring and meeting their needs above the needs of the individual and the self. Okay, and many cultural backgrounds and ethnicities can relate to this, right? Many families can relate to this concept. And so when it comes to this idea of self-care, it almost seems like these belief systems butt heads with each other, okay? That somehow self-care and my cultural beliefs or my views as what a mother should be doing for the kids or a father should be doing for the kids, they could butt heads, and you're like, this is me being selfish, it's not self-care. That's not true, okay? Let's go back to this concept of unselfishness, all right? Self-care and all these different beliefs, even belief systems where you're saying others come first, they go hand in hand and they work together, all right? They're not opposing each other because look, if you don't take care of yourself, all right, you will not be able to take care of others at your optimum, okay? You won't be able to perform in your academic life, in your career path, your own personal growth, all right, at your optimum. If you are burnt out, if you are running on empty, if you are running on fumes, okay, that is going to lead to you basically not functioning well, feeling burnt out, snapping at people, feeling fatigued, feeling miserable, getting frustrated, feeling like you can't bounce back from adversity, and feeling less resilient, all right? So we have to get rid of this concept that somehow taking care of ourselves is selfish, okay? We don't live in isolation. We don't live in a black hole. We are all connected to one another. And our physical, mental, emotional, spiritual health and how we're doing has an impact on those around us, especially those who are in our close circle. Okay, so look, this concept of guilt, shame, okay, this attitude of I'm not allowed to, I can't, it's selfish, needs to stop. Repeat after me. Self-care is unselfish. All right. So thank you for listening in. And look, I know we kind of went through some of these myths, and the bottom line is you have to deliberately set aside time to take care of yourself and your self-care. Now, there is no one-size-fits-all plan, okay? So look, yeah, I know I was bashing social media and the internet, but look, the internet could be a great resource. Go out there, get some ideas, but don't feel like I have to follow this plan that this article laid out. I have to follow this plan that this influencer kind of laid out, and this is what he or she does, okay? You try out things, you find what works for you, and bottom line is, proof's in the pudding, okay? Are you feeling restored and rejuvenated? If the answer is yes, then keep that in your plan. Keep incorporating those things. If the answer is no, then you need to really analyze it and say, is this action a form of self-care? And if you say it's not, then move on, try something else, okay? Especially during these times, this needs to be a priority because I want you to be healthy. This is Dr. Andrew Kim. Thank you so much for checking in. And please, everyone, be happy, be safe, be well. Take care of yourselves.